You give them an inch, they take a mile. And I would say that the perfect example of that is that cold open that we just showed you of Joe Biden in 1998.
Yes, you up in the back. Yes.
Do you agree with abortion?
Do I agree with abortion? I agree. My view is that government should not make the judgment. Therefore, I have voted for 15 years consistently against limiting the right of a woman to make a decision with her doctor whether or not she should have an abortion. And on the other side, I have also voted against direct government funding of abortion. If you say government should stay out, government should stay out, in my view, yes.
Joe Biden in 1998, sounding somewhat measured, understanding his own personal beliefs versus government and all of those things, versus Joe Biden of today, where he basically is saying it is a fundamental right. They've taken away fundamental rights. They're coming after women and all of this hysteria. Remember, again, the only argument for voting for Joe Biden as president was that he was the firewall. He was going to stop evil fascist Donald Trump, and he was the firewall against crazy wokeism. And ironically, he's the one who has ushered it in. But the hysteria, of course, is not just about the politicians. It also is all of their friends in the media. And watch out, people. I'm about to show you a clip from The View.
Don't we have church separation?
Yes, no, we don't anymore.
I mean, Clarence Thomas needs to have a seance and have Thomas Jefferson there and Alexander Hamilton. Hello?
Yeah.
Do we still have a separation of church and state here? Is in the Constitution?
It's the First Amendment guarantee, and we don't seem to have that anymore.
We're in a theocracy right now.
Okay, the level of stupidity there is so off the charts. First off, Sonny Hostin, this has nothing to do with the First Amendment. You can say whatever you want. They can get up there and say that we live in a theocracy. Okay, it's not true, but they can say it. Also, she's talking about the separation of church and state. There was no religious argument made in any of the Supreme Court justices' paperwork on this. There was nothing that had to do with religion. It was explicitly what is in the Constitution, which is basically a secular document. The founders were believers all in their own way, and they went back and forth in that, and they talked about a moral people, and they talked about the separation of church and state, obviously. No one is being dictated to live a certain way, right? Nobody is being told, oh, you must believe in Christ, you must be a Christian and must do this or that. All this is a give back. It's a give back. People like the buyback, when they do gun buybacks, this is a give back of the power to the state. So this is a decentralization of power. What this is unearthing within the progressives, what it's showing all of us, is that they just want one power over us. They want one ring to rule us all, basically, and that's what they're upset about. So here you have Joy Behar talking about the separation of church and state, while she's basically spitting all over the separation of powers, the idea that we do have a judiciary that decides what's legal, and a legislative branch that writes the laws, and an executive branch that executes those laws, right? That is what is a key facet of the Constitution, of the rule of law that we have here. By the way, the definition of a theocracy, since Joy Behar brought that up, a system of government in which priests rule in the name of God or a god. Does that sound like what's happened here? They literally said, hey, states, can you figure out what's going on with abortion? You make your decisions, and hopefully the people in your states will vote a certain way. And then if you want no abortions or 8-month abortions or 12-week abortions or whatever, go ahead and do that. Does this sound like the priests are doing something in the name of God? Is that what this really sounds like? It's endless. It's endless hysterical lunacy. I mean, it's the only way to put it. But the new meme out there also is that what they're coming for next, now that they've done this, now that they've given the right of abortion to the states, and of course you are allowed to leave the state and get an abortion still, but now that they've done that, they're coming for interracial marriage. Black people will not marry white people, and of course they're coming for gay marriage too. Here's Whoopi Goldberg.
I want people to have the lives they want, but I don't want to force anybody. I don't want anybody coming in my house telling me how to raise my daughter and what she needs, because they don't know. I appreciate everybody's religion, but I do not subscribe to your religion. I don't ask you to subscribe to mine, and you do not have the right, based on your religious beliefs, to tell me, because what's next, as Clarence Thomas is signaling, they would like to get rid of contraception. Do you understand, sir? No, because you don't have to use it.
But that's crazy.
They don't have to use it.
Everything's on the menu now. Contraception's on the menu. Gay marriage is now probably going to be overturned. Affirmative action is
we
no
were
more.
not in the Constitution either.
Well,
we were not even people
he is
in
saying
the Constitution.
nothing is precedent anymore.
Well, you better
but
hope
Clarence,
that they don't come for you, Clarence, and say you should not be married to your wife who happens to be white. Because they will move that. And you better hope that nobody says, you know, well, you're not in the Constitution, you're back to being a quarter of a person.
We're back to the 50s.
Because that's not going to work either.
You know
We'll
what?
be right back.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
Man, when I tell you that these people need fear and endless hysteria to keep people watching, it's like, has there ever been a better example of that? Has there ever been a better example of that? Do you think that the Supreme Court is coming for interracial marriage? You know, the founding documents, which I believe are the best man-made documents ever to free people, to free an imperfect people from ourselves, from our history and all of those things, which has led to 250 plus years of this incredible evolution of freedom and more equality for more people along the way. Do I think that the Supreme Court is suddenly going to say black people cannot marry white people? That's what we're going to do. You better watch out, Clarence Thomas. And also, no matter how many videos you see of these people, the hypocrisy of this idea that suddenly they want autonomy over their lives and nobody over their bodies, and nobody's allowed to tell them what they should do with their bodies. The same people, those are the same harping crazy women who are demanding that other people wear masks, that other people get vaccinated, that we fire other people for their own medical decisions and much more, which had certainly much more to do with their own personal decisions. You were forcing, no one's forcing anyone to get an abortion. You were forcing people to be injected with something, whether you knew it worked or not. And if they didn't want to get injected the way you wanted them to get injected with, they were potentially losing their job. That's what you freaks wanted just a couple months ago. And this is why if you have no principles, if your only principle is power that you can exercise over people, you will end up seeming like a crazy person, much like Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin and Anna Navarro and whoever else is sitting at that table.